very simple plan to deal with the very real problem which millions of young people face. They will be able to borrow £1,500 anywhere across the country. In London, it will be £2,000. It's repayable over 12 months or 24 months at their choice. It's money for the deposit, because the two things that stop youngsters often moving out are that they just don't have the money up front. You have to be between 18 and 30. You have to be in work. You have to be not on the list and eligible for social housing. So you have to be exactly the sort of young people who I met coincidentally last night knocking on doors in Rotherhithe. A mum, 3 sons, 2 twins, 1 other son, in work. And when I knocked on the door, I said, "Any issues?" And the mum said, Florence, she said, "Yes, I want to get rid of my boys. They ought to be on their own now." And they were there. They were just coming back from shopping. And she said, and the benefit of that will be I can then move to a smaller place.
And the way to have done it, surely, would have been to provide, during the course of the coalition, more housing at decent cost that they could have moved into, rather than simply providing a sum of money which actually would go into the pockets of the landlords.
Justin, we have provided more housing. We'll be the first government ever to have left the amount of social and affordable housing greater than the amount which we inherited. The net figures were that went down by 1 million under the Tory government, down by nearly 500,000 under the Labour government. And we absolutely understand that the big picture question is huge house building.
It's supply, isn't it?
Of course it's supply. And we're committed to 300,000 a year. And you've heard Nick as leader talk about a set of garden cities. That's part of the answer, but it's also on lots of brownfield sites in cities like London. But this is an issue actually that affects all over the country, even where there aren't some of the other housing crises. Some of the highest figures for young adults in work at home are in places like Knowsley, are in places like towns in the southeast. So across the country, there are a lot of youngsters who want to be independent, but they just can't get over the threshold. And the great benefit of this system is that at the end of your period, of course, you get your money back. So you've got your deposit back to spend somewhere else.
Yeah, but from the point of view of the taxpayer who subsidised this, it's a short-term fix, but actually, potentially, leads to the deposits that people demand being higher because they know that people are going to be able to get their hands on the money to put in, and doesn't really solve the problem at all.
Well, it's part of a set of housing proposals, of which the most important, I repeat, is lots more affordable housing. So a house building programme for the nation. Macmillan left office with one of the great things of his reputation, having built homes for heroes to live in. Great house building programme in the 60s. We've never done it since then in the same way. So that's the big programme. There are separate issues in my community. The big issue is making sure that affordable housing percentages, which are set by the planning rules, are kept to. So we have a 35% rule, broken invariably by our local Labour Council, who give in to developers who say can't possibly manage 35%, and you then get 25% or 20%.
The trouble is that the developers tell you that, you're stuck, aren't you?
No, but you needn't be, because you know what happens? The developers don't reveal their figures. The planning committee meet. There is no transparency about that. The viability assessment is the technical phrase, and we want to change that. So we'd have much more open and transparent processes. We'd make sure the developers had to reveal their hand. We'd make sure councils had to comply with their affordable requirements. But what this proposal does, this is helping young people in work to be able to have the money to start off. If they do that, it means they're independent. It means we can solve some of the problems of houses which have spare rooms then being available for others. It is a small contribution to a big problem, but lots of people will be very grateful.
Simon Hughes, thanks.